Good morning. Stand by. Stand by while I'm getting everything all set up here. Can I do this? Let's see how much this works. Okay. Here we go. I am traveling today. But I gotta stay committed to the game. But traveling through an airport with a toddler, I think there's the phrase, it's like the million what is it? It's like the mile, I'm messing it up. It's basically, it's just acknowledging that to try to get out of the door for a trip with a toddler, it's like that last step to go from the house to the car is outrageous. There are 10 billion things that you have to remember, and you're kind of constantly going back and forth, remembering this thing, that thing. Oh, this is a good thing to bring. And then you'll get halfway down the road and you'll be like, oh, we forgot the most important thing. We forgot the water bottle. So I've been getting ready for that this morning. So it's probably a good time to talk about impatience. And oh, what's up, Jeff? Yo, Jeff, I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you a link to just come on and hop on live with me. Well, Jeff, let me ask you: are you watching on laptop or on your phone? gonna laptop. Perfect. All right, Jeff, I'm gonna send you an email that has a link to the stream. You just need Chrome. I don't know if you've got, I feel like you're a guy who's got a lot of programs going on, and not every program necessarily loves Safari. So maybe you've got, oh yeah, you've got the Rode mic. Okay, we're gonna bring in the real setup here. So if you just click that link, you should be able to join real easy. Yo.
What's going on, brother?
Welcome to the stream, man.
Thank you.
It's so good.
Yeah.
You know, I've really, man, it's been this morning is a little bit different than maybe other Thursday mornings, but I've mostly been doing like Tuesday nights are times where it's like it's 2 hours. There's a lot of space. It's really
Yeah.
like it's like vibey. This last Tuesday, this one woman from the community came on, like looked at her chart, hung out for a while. Eric ended up coming on,
Nice.
and like with Eric, we just talked real deeply about music and his work and just got in a fascinating conversation around all of that. And then we also popped into his chart and took a look at that.
Nice.
Yeah. Like
I
last
saw something
Tuesday.
about. I was gonna say I saw something about Donald Trump's chart. I didn't get to see
Oh
that
yeah.
live stream yet, but I was like, "Well, that's pretty hooky."
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't, there wasn't time to do it
Uh-huh.
this last Tuesday because like between those two, we just went so deep and had really amazing conversations that I was like,
Nice.
you know, at some level, I'm enjoying just riffing as much as that's available.
Mm,
But there's also it's like I can explore anything that I want. So 2 weeks ago, I got in and pulled up Ye's chart, Kanye West's chart,
oh wow.
and just went through that, and it was really amazing. Like nobody ended up joining for a chart look that time,
Okay. That's
but
punchy.
it was perfect. But it was like it was deep. It was like we were looking at his chart, and you know I'm just having fun with it. And Thursday mornings end up being a little bit more teaching style, like workshop style, where I've basically just committed on this journey where I'm going to be going through like from 1 to 64 all the keys
Mm,
every week. And I've had people like Karen and Evacheska on here
yeah.
exploring with me.
Yeah.
And you know, to the extent that you want to you're a father, you've got stuff going on, like you got to drop at any moment. That's cool. But
Sure.
I'm like somebody like you as a filmmaker and director probably knows a lot about, and a
Yeah.
father, these words, you know?
Especially
So,
father. I was listening to what you were saying before I joined about taking a trip and getting out the door. And boy, if you knew the morning I had, basically speaking directly to my direct experience this morning.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
just
man.
like what Dakota and like you said,
Yeah,
tantrum phase is coming on
tantrum
with it.
phase is very much activated. I something happened last weekend. I don't know, like overnight upgrade, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But yeah, that's very much in play, which of course adds pressure to the whole system,
Uh-huh. Yep.
and it's really pushing me uh, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Pushing my patients specifically, because basically what happened is Nikla uh, typically, I'd say 4 out of 5 times has to take Dakota for a ride in the car to get her to go down for a nap.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so by the time she comes in, she's a bit frazzled because she has to wake Dakota up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been asking her to put the keys in a particular place to the car.
Mm-hmm.
Please put the keys here. Please put the keys here. Please put the keys here.
Yeah.
And she always says, things are chaotic when I come in, and then she forgets. So it
Hmm.
becomes this wild goose chase for the keys.
Right.
This morning, Dakota has a tantrum, and we can't find the keys.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, you get the picture.
Yeah, no, man. It's like that this is I'll even just introduce this key because it's like it really gets into that whole theme of like especially in parenthood, especially when it comes to building, a business like each of us we're like building our own businesses and everything that comes into it. I think you have like a really cool lens when it comes to filmmaking as well, like the patience to get the right shot, like the patience for a project to come together and everything that goes into that, all the waiting. And
Yes.
this Keys journey, I mean, you see timelessness. It's like at its highest level, it's the archetype that unlocks our prison styled separate self relationship with time. This essence
Mm,
that there's like life is just moving in this linear, you know, front to back version. That's all there is. Like it's like it breaks out of that space and welcomes us into the relationship with this concept of like time is alinear. It's like fat past, present, future is all like collapsed and happening now in this like the eternal now, and
like
so
a
many
Christopher Nolan film.
like a what?
It's like a Christopher Nolan film.
Oh
The
yeah.
idea of playing with time, like Interstellar and
Right.
Inception and all these
Right,
things.
right, exactly. Yeah, and it's like yeah, definitely. Like Interstellar is a perfect example. And in
Yeah.
Patience, the Shadow, it's like okay, everybody. I find that this key is one of the most blunt ones to lean into. Like everybody understands like impatience, and then you see patience, and you're like, oh, I just have to be patient in order
Mm,
to resolve my like shadows around impatience. It's like almost like well, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? It's
yeah.
like it's like sounds nice, but like what do I do in the moment where I'm trying to find the keys and like trying to get out the door and like all of the stuff is,
Right.
blowing up in my face. And it really comes down to this rather bold invitation that's like, what are you afraid of losing out on?
Mm,
And it's like that impatience is this wrestling within ourselves that, like, deep down, it's the sense that there's a clock that's going to end
mm,
and that we're going to run out of time to get the things done in this life that we want to achieve, and
yep.
it's like, I want
Yep.
to I want to have like success in this style of partnership and relationship and like fame or like whatever it is, or like house and these material things or these accolades or just like whatever it is, like all of that pressure that exists in the subconscious psyche like rolls up, and then on the surface it comes into the moment where it's like I can't find the keys and I need to get out the door.
Mhm.
And this like, or here's my child that is taking forever doing like somersaults, like karate chops, just to have like one bite of food. And we're thinking of like the billion and one things that we have to take care of and all of this stuff. And it's like that impatience, it asks this daring question that's like, what's the rush?
Mm,
and and the gift quality of this really starts to come online when you start to lean more deeply into this experience that's like, if I really open myself up to the possibility that I am an eternal being, that like this life doesn't end when this body ends,
mm, yeah.
then everything will get done when it needs to get done. And it's only my lens that wants to focus on like, here's my like single little precious separate self life where everything has to happen at my pace. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of time. That clock is going to like strike, death is going to strike, and I'm not going to have gotten everything done that I wanted to, and then that's going to be it. And so we become impatient in the moment where it's like, hey, you got to hurry up. Like you've got to like I have things to do,
Right, right.
you know. And
Yeah,
and we place all of that on those immediate moments of like waiting for this person or our partner to do something, but it's actually it's like the root of that little tiny sapling that sprouts up in our day-to-day lives is that sense of like I'm gonna run out of time on the clock in my life.
yeah, yeah. So it's like an invitation to shift your paradigm, shift shift the pun intended lens that you're looking through.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're like, oh, I mean, even this would be limiting, but if you're like, imagine if we lived for like in one body, imagine if we lived for like 400,000 years. Like, at what point would you be like, what's the rush?
Hmm. Right.
Right? You know, but it's like this, there's something, I mean, we would probably, even in that dynamic, come up with our own, you know, form of impatience because 400,000 wouldn't be enough. Like, it's like, it's just this deeper thing that's like, unless you, it's that incompatibility with our immortal, eternal nature and our separate self mind that's trying to place ourselves in this box of like there's a start and an end to my consciousness and or
Sure. Yeah.
this consciousness and which is just not what is. And so anyways,
Yeah.
that's a deep dive into that deep end, but I just wanted to like frame that as like that's the background context, and now we can get back to talking about like fatherhood.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
stuff.
no, it's beautiful the frame that you just kind of painted. Um, I mean, what's coming to me is just kind of like the whole sort of metaphor and adage of instead of viewing obstacles as obstacles, that obstacles are actually doorways.
Yeah,
You know um, that like the obstacle is the way
yeah,
kind of idea. You know,
yeah.
and how much can really unfold and transform when that small shift is made.
Totally, man. You know, it's like you look at this, it's like what do we do with obstacles when they show up? And every shadow has two expressions. There's a repressive expression where we turn that shadow inwardly upon ourselves, and then there's a reactive expression where we project it outward. And so
Mm,
those carry names, and the repressive bent of impatience is called pessimistic, and the reactive is pushy. So pessimistic would be like,
right.
I'm like this obstacle will never move. Like
Yeah.
I'm totally
Trapped.
crushed and trapped by
Yeah.
like my fear around time because it's like things are never going to play out the way that I want. It would be like paralysis of that ticking clock. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost like that movie. What's that movie with Justin Timberlake? You know what I'm talking about? Um,
Um. Hmm.
In Time.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen this.
I never saw it, but
Okay.
it's like where basically everybody has stays like young, like they stay in this like prime, I don't know, I want to say like 30s of their lives. And they have on their wrists, it's almost like a digital reader of the amount of time that they have. And
Interesting.
time becomes the currency. And so the wealthiest people have like billions of hours. Basically, they're immortal, you know?
Okay.
And people pay each other in time. Somebody goes to a restaurant and it's like they get a tip where they get paid in time that's
Wow.
added to their lives. Or they
And
want an apartment and they pay in time to their lives. And the moment that that clock runs out, boom, they like drop dead. And so it's this like whole story about him and falling in love with this girl, and all of the stuff that comes around to like looking at like that clock on your wrist and some like dramatic scenes as you might imagine
mm-hmm.
around that. But that pessimism would be like literally like metaphorically, if you are spending all your days like looking at this proverbial clock on your life and just like totally paralyzed by that, like and that's the pessimism. Nothing's
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. Pushy would be like, yo, everybody get the hell out of my way,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like I
Hurry up.
have
Hurry up.
hurry up, I've got places to be. So
Right.
you can see the like push and pull around something like this and where it
Totally.
brings us. And whether it's with like our own passion projects or parenting and all that stuff, all the ways that that comes and impacts us.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
So,
Good.
so tell, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say. So tell me like tell me as a director, like when you set out on a journey of creating a film, or you can even talk about the project. I don't know if you can, but if you want
Yeah.
to talk in some, you could even talk in metaphors about the project that you're leaning into now.
Yes.
It's like the amount of patience that I imagine that needs to come together to map out something like that and get everybody on board and literally get everybody in place to then go and put it together is like
Yeah.
enormous.
Yeah.
I'm like I'm stitching together little like Instagram reels in Premiere Pro from what we shot the other last year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like this is to build a whole arc of like an entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your take on all this.
Yeah, man. This is rich ground to speak from, definitely in the moment. Um, I will say, and it has to do with having a deeper understanding of my unique process within filmmaking and
Hmm.
not just the end result. The end result is almost like the flower on the plant, right?
Yeah.
Um, so for me, uh, you know, being on the path that I am, I'm seeing just how much the process of development, particularly with this project that I'm working on, transforms me in the process. And so
Yeah.
by the time it comes time to shoot, it's only then that I'm truly capable of executing the project in the way
Hmm.
that it needs. Whereas if it had come together maybe in the time frame that I originally imagined, it would be a completely different project.
Yeah.
And so with this one in particular, there's a lot of core elements that have required an immense amount of patience and trust. And least of them is just the fact that it's an international production.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to produce and manage this production that has become international. It was from the start, but more recently, having partnered with an Italian production company and an Italian producer, we're dealing with time frames, which is
Oh yeah.
probably the least of it. Different time zones, and also just I there's core partners that I've never met in person yet.
Hmm.
Um, and so just like the meetings and knowing when to communicate what messages. Sometimes I have to be more conscious than others. And then, of course, the central character of this documentary, he's someone who operates by his own set of values and logic. Um, Thankfully, he's not in any particular rush to get this done. But then on the other hand, there's just the reality of the nature of the story itself,
Hmm.
how, to produce it and make it happen within the next 6 months versus the next year or two, there's going to be a dramatic difference.
Yeah.
And it also, there's a part of it to where if it's not done in a particular time, is the story still going to be relevant and worth doing?
Right.
So there's a lot of competing uh, interests and a lot of competing dynamics. And but I will say that really anchoring all of it has been this sense of patience, because what I thought the story would be initially
Hmm.
is very different from what the story is now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so to give a little preview, and I'm happy to talk about it, the story
Yeah,
is
sure.
about, yeah, the story, as I saw it initially, has to do with this kind of avant-garde artisanal designer who I've been really attracted to and connected with for at least a decade, through various people. Of course, initially I found out about him through his brand and the pieces, but slowly over time I just find myself without any effort getting closer to him through people that are working with him directly, and then eventually people who are directly on his team in Barcelona.
Hmm.
And I always, as a creative, I always wanted to find a way to work with him, because I was really passionate and still am very passionate about his work.
Hmm.
Um, the issue is that he really does, or really did, little to no marketing. It's basically letting the work speaks for itself,
Yeah.
word of mouth, etc. So when he decided to close the brand a year ago, I thought, okay, here's a story about somebody who um, decided to close something near and dear to him, something with his name on it, on his own terms. He didn't go bankrupt.
Hmm.
He just
Hmm.
saw the sea changes unfolding economically, culturally, and he decided that it's complete. The story's complete, right?
Yeah.
But as I've kind of delved deeper and deeper into the nature of storytelling, which will be for sure a lifelong process, I've realized that there's a very distinct difference between a topic and a story.
Yeah.
And typically, human beings are really the one that drive real story. So
Hmm.
initially, I thought the story is okay. Here's somebody who, without any regard for selling his brand, or for pushing it as far as he can until he goes bankrupt, just driving it off the cliff. He
Hmm.
decided that, okay, I'm closing it with integrity. Now that in and of itself, I would say is a decent story.
Yeah.
Not a like I have to watch this story.
Right.
But what's been interesting to
Unless you
bring it back,
know him and you're like passionate about him and like
right?
want to, yeah, already. Hmm.
Yes, exactly. Which is a limited audience, right? But
Yeah.
I knew from the start I wanted to take this very niche, almost underground figure and really draw some universal themes for it and make it appealing to people who have never heard of him, and maybe who even people who have no interest in fashion whatsoever. Because I
Yeah.
just felt instinctively that there's something really important going on here. Um,
Yeah.
and so what's been interesting, to bring it back to patience, is I've flown to Barcelona twice in the last year to spend time with him, and the time has been very, very rich, but also very limited.
Yeah.
And so I've had to piece together his psyche through people that have known him for a long time.
Hmm.
And I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with someone who has been close to him for a long time, and there was something that came up in the meeting that unlocked the real story. And basically, he said that this person, Boris, is somebody with whom he's extremely hypersensitive, and there's ways that he's described his work in terms of it being armor and protection from the world,
Hmm.
from the
Hmm.
elements. And the name of the project, as of right now, is Second Skin. So
Oh, wow.
basically, this person's thesis is that creating the brand was this exercise for Boris in protecting himself from the world.
Yeah.
And the garments were these instrument in creating protection of his sensitivity
Hmm.
to these external forces of the world.
Hmm.
And so basically this person's idea is that that the brand is this was this container for him to protect himself,
Hmm.
but now he this creation, this instrument, this exercise that he put himself through, he no longer needs. He's
Yeah.
free of it.
Hmm.
So it's really a story
Wow.
about liberation and transformation
Yeah.
and revelation.
You feel it come alive when you start to shift that. It's like you could actually
Yeah.
just feel the life force of it.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
And so I think the story is really about, how a person has created a certain persona, a certain version of themselves to engage with the world with the resources that they had at that particular time.
Yeah.
But, this elaborate process, which we all have our own version of that, this elaborate process of protecting and creating armor and creating this external skin, he has evolved to a certain point
Hmm.
in his experience as a human and as a soul where that's no longer needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's fascinating, man.
it
Hmm.
is, right? It
Yeah.
is. And so to bring it back to patience, um, had we executed in the original time frame that I had in mind, I mean, it's
Yeah. We
literally
would have missed.
massive myths,
Huge
massive myths.
miss. Yeah. Hmm.
And so, I mean, to be honest, had I had the resources, maybe, let's say, had I had the budget and the willingness for him to do it,
Hmm.
which suppose I did to a certain degree. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just one of those things that it's a blessing that I didn't get what I wanted
Yeah.
in the time frame that I want. And
Yeah.
so to bring it back to what we're talking about, um, patience is kind of this invitation to discover the blessing, to discover the opportunity,
Yeah.
to make something and to become something more than you initially could see.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
man.
know?
So beautiful. I don't always look at these through the lens of the zodiac, like
Mm,
probably like more rarely, but I just have to call it out because I feel like Sagittarius, like the hunter, and it's
mm,
like waiting to release that arrow upon its mark, right? And
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
too soon you or too late you miss it. And
yes,
I think that this is I mean, I've found again and again this journey where there were so many iterations of things that I like wanted to launch or build. I mean, we were even part of something, together at one point, like with the men's group. And it's like
yeah,
we have to go through that process. We have to sandbox things. We have to give ourselves permission to go and put things out there. But then if we're not open in that process of letting go to our own agenda around like the what and the time and all of that stuff, then it's like you can really limit it and possibly allow for it to just miss the mark entirely. And
yeah,
so I found many times, I mean, right now I'm building, as you know, and as you've, helped me with flight school. And it's like,
yeah,
its time is here, it's a journey still, and there is a journey of patience with that as well. Like the people and number of people that I had in the last round was perfect because it was the right amount that I needed to be able to also like really continue to water the seed in all of these other ways. And
mm,
now it evolves in this fall. It's shaping up. It's like a different energy. It's grown. It's evolved. It's become a different thing. And
yeah,
even still, I can feel the tendrils of my own impatience of like, I see this whole massive vision. Like, can we just get there? But then the vision shifts. Like, the vision is very different now
right,
versus what it was even just 4 or 5 months ago. And that's an interesting thing, man, because like I was looking at, I mean, we produced an epic VSL for
hmm,
flight school that am still so proud of. It's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah,
And I look at it. today, and I'm like, wow, I see who that is, and I also can feel and know how I would channel and present it differently now. And
Yeah.
I think with film, especially right now, man, I think like film is such an interesting thing, and I always just like love the perfection of like who is joining me on some of these things too, because what is film other than a vehicle through which we seek to kind of capture moments in time? And I love how you're talking about there's sort of this like amorphous range of the timing of this story to come to the world through you and
Right.
through this individual, you know, in collaboration.
Yes.
And it's like again, before it wouldn't have been appropriate, and like two further down the road it wouldn't be relevant. And I find this interesting thing in film now where there's like so much nostalgia there. I see there are many layers to this, but I find that people are going back into like their DVD collection
Hmm.
because they're like, I just miss when movies were just like movies
Yes.
and not the 3 billionth remake of something that was told so many times before, where now I feel like I'm watching like a story that has just been like squeezed of its juice to death, and slapped with some frosting of some like modern quirks and maybe like political overtones, undertones. You know, I sense it much more so.
Yeah.
And I am someone who doesn't spend really any time going on to, I mean, I can't tell you the last time that I've was like watching something other than like a funny little, like we watch like occasionally a little movie with Kai,
Yeah.
which I don't know if I got to just pull this up. Have you ever seen this? The boy, the mole, the fox, the horse.
We have the book. I didn't know
Oh,
there's a series.
you've got to watch it. It's on Apple TV.
Oh, wow.
It's a it's like a 20-minute movie.
Oh,
The
amazing.
the book is basically almost like a sketchbook for the the animated film that was created.
Wow.
And
I
it's
had no
so
idea.
beautiful, man. It's so timeless. I have chills. It's so amazing. Kai gets so excited. It's truly timeless. Like you could,
Amazing. I love
and
the story.
I think that that's something. It's like what makes a timeless film. You know, like what makes something truly
Yeah.
timeless? Where if you pick up like the Matrix is a timeless movie. You know.
Yeah. Well, I just saw the
Eh,
Odyssey
mhm.
like a week or two ago on 70 mil IMAX.
Okay, tell me about it because I haven't seen it. There's obviously a lot of like controversy around, you know, all of the things and critiques
Sure.
from in all of the levels and approaches, but obviously it like blew through box office records.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
curious of your take on what it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Christopher Nolan, I guess I would consider him. I don't think he's in the top five directors for me necessarily, just because I don't get me wrong, I really respect and admire him. He's an inspiration. There's just
Hmm.
other directors that resonate more deeply with me.
Yeah.
But that said, yeah, I mean, I went from when I from first hearing about it, my YouTube algorithm went crazy and just started pushing behind the scenes and interviews. And then I
Hmm.
was like, you know what? I gotta cut this because I just want to experience the film purely.
Yeah.
And I heard some of the controversy in the casting and stuff, but I mean, I gotta say that this is like a once in a generation kind of film.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for many reasons. I would say top reason is his minimal use of special effects. I
Mm.
mean, even for like Cyclops, um,
Mm.
they built a 60-foot puppet, and they just
Oh.
and they used an actual cave in Greece, I believe.
Oh wow.
And then for like the scenes, when they're on water. They used a Bronze Age replica, and they took the IMAX camera, 300-pound camera, on the boat,
Wow.
uh, shooting this thing. So yeah, in terms of like universal themes, this one is a perfect example of that. Like, it's an ancient story that has been adapted, countless times in countless ways.
Hmm.
But somehow, and of course, Chris Nolan has a lot to do with it. It still feels vital. It still feels relevant. There's these themes that are that are communicated and expressed in beautiful ways that again I think are timeless to just human nature and the human
Yeah.
condition.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, man, I would really highly recommend that film, um, because I just think it's a huge victory for storytelling and for
Hmm.
filmmaking.
Yeah.
And he's one of the only directors I think around who is able to pull um, something off like this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Um, I think like when I'm thinking of like, I don't know if you've ever been inside of it. I haven't been to Barcelona, but La Sagrada
Yeah.
Familia,
Oh
this like
yeah.
the epic Barcelona
Oh yeah.
cathedral
Yes.
is like it was just finished
Yeah.
this year.
Right.
And that's like fascinating because it's like you go to Rome, which I've been to Rome. You go to Rome and you look at like the cathedrals, and there's something to let me just even look like Rome cathedral. It's the Basilica, right? Yeah, the Basilica.
Yep.
I haven't been to the Vatican, but I forget the other major one.
There's
But
one in Germany too, I
but
think.
there's just like the quality of where I'm trying to find like the right picture. Basilica, Rome. There's just like when you look at some of, well, let's just say like stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like people spent their entire life just
Right.
making this. Like one person spent their entire life just like making this right
Yeah.
here. Like
Yep.
just this part, maybe not even the whole section.
Yeah.
And you feel that in architecture like this where there's no practical reason to go and do that much. At many stages throughout it, you could be like, this, it's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but but there was just this sense of like, this is I devote my life to that that expression. And I think that's something that I can feel despite all of the controversy with Chris's approach to the movie, that when you're talking about like bringing the 300-pound IMAX camera, like you have an extra level of sensitivity to like what that means. Like as somebody who's a director, as somebody who has like lugged all of the stuff, who has set up scenes, who has like, I think about even when you were filming The Passengers, and like to get that twilight hue of sky for those
Right.
shots
Yeah.
on days where you could have like had overcast or just it wouldn't have punched in the same way,
Mm.
that there's something so profound, like it's beyond what's on the screen when
Mm-hmm.
you can just feel what like brought to life that production.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many ways that I can throw shade and stuff on like modern productions, but I saw this reel the other day that was on like Star Wars, and it was showing lightsaber duels, like when Obi-Wan and whatever the guy's name, not like big like I'm not like the biggest lore Star Wars guy, but when
Yeah.
they're dueling Darth Maul in like the movie one,
Yes. Yeah.
or or just like the level of choreography that went into those duels that are electric. It's like it's beyond any sword fight that you've ever seen.
Right.
It is Jedi. It is like truly of something. It's like the next generation. It feels like Star Wars because it inspired this experience across an entire culture that were watching this, that was like, this is like the future samurai, you know?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then you watch some of like the more recent like Disney Star Wars like post, you know, the core series like expansions, and the lightsaber duels are like a CGI and like very just like bland.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like all of this comes down to like what level of patience are we able to invest into something for it to truly become timeless. And I believe there's even like with Lord of the Rings, I think the original Lord of the Rings, they went to like mountains and places in like Europe and Romania or wherever. I don't even really remember. I've just seen different clips where it's like you can, when they're riding the horse through this old kind of like castle in ruins. It's an actual old castle in ruins.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're actually riding through that space. And to get
Yeah.
that shot and to have the weather be okay and to have to move everybody there and food and accommodations, it's like there's so much that goes into that, that it's so tempting now to just be like, just like CGI everything,
Right.
you
Or
know,
AI.
or
Yeah.
AI everything.
Yeah.
And this weird time that we're living in, that people like, you can like take like Will Smith or Dwayne the Rock Johnson or some of these like Mark Wahlberg. Like there's this tempting moment with AI that's like, well, why don't you just digitalize yourself, and then you as a director and filmmaker, you never even have to go anywhere. You can just
Yep.
create everything in like Unreal Engine, you know,
Right.
and like this whole CGI universe, and you just sell the royalties and the rights of yourself as a an actor. You don't even have to, your voice is there. You don't even have to do anything. You just get
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah.
And yet like it's like something, it's like to be able to actually feel, here's what went into that scene. Like here's what actually had to happen to make that scene come alive, that I believe is the making of something that really stands the test of time, and that sense of timelessness. There is something in the Lord of the Rings about like the guy, I forget the guy, it was like there was something, a scene where he had to like climb this mountain, and everybody took this helicopter, and he said he decided like, no, I need to like climb it because I need to like be in that
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're kind of losing touch with that a lot. And film is a proxy to culture and our own
Yeah.
relationship within ourselves, right? And so it's like,
Absolutely.
what are we willing to invest our patience into? And I bet you though, like you could take like 2 20-year-old actors who are like up and coming, and you take one and you CGI the crap out of everything they produce. They get paid an extraordinarily like cushy lifestyle where they basically barely need to work, and they just get to live that whole lifestyle
Yep.
for their voice and their looks and everything. And they're in all of these like super CGI films, countless ones that are produced across all the major stuff that's just reproduced ad nauseum. And then you take another one who's like, I'm gonna spend the next like 20 years just like perfecting myself for this one role,
Right.
and that's it. And like, who is going to stand that test of time? I feel
Yes.
like that's sort of where we are. And for me as a creative, and I'd imagine for you as a director, that's what like that's the deeper thing that moves us. When I look at flight school, I'm like, how do I nurture what is the making of a truly timeless brand? And
Yeah.
I asked this this friend in the community who's been mentoring me a little bit. He's older. He's got a rich history in like culture and media in
Mm.
fashion,
Mhm.
and I asked him, I was like, what is, and he's had his hand in like bringing forward some like universally, like culturally recognized brands. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to unpick your brain and the understanding of like what is the making of a truly timeless brand. And he laughed, and I this is such a funny response, because he was like, I don't know if there is such a thing as a timeless brand anymore. Maybe Kleenex. And I was like, you know,
Yeah.
but it's like there's this strange thing that's happening now where the ability to produce is so concentrated in the hands of many now that there's this liberating aspect. Like anybody can, with an iPhone, can produce like an internationally acclaimed film, and yet, how does like convenience rot the like gusto?
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny, man. The more I'm listening to you, the more I'm seeing. Once again, this is kind of like a direct reference to the project I'm currently working on, because
Hmm.
Boris is kind of like one of these guys who worked on the cathedral his entire life. It's not his
Hmm.
entire life, but a lot of what attracts me to him are his processes for creating clothes. They're insane. He himself has said that, like, in many cases, I'll give you a good example.
Hmm.
So there's a leather jacket he produced that A was
Hey,
perforated
let me
leather.
let me ask you real quick. Would it be okay for me to like screen share, or
Yeah,
should we
yeah,
just kind of, okay? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't
yep,
know if you wanted to keep like any of it. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Um,
What's the name?
so Boris Bijan Saberi. Um,
Yep.
Let me see. Is there a
There we go.
chat? Yeah, there's a chat here. Why don't I send you a link, direct link to a particular garment
Okay.
that I'm
Yeah.
referring to, just to illustrate the topic here.
Okay. Great.
Let's see if I can find it. Um, so bear with me for just one moment. Um, okay. Okay. Perforated. Perforated leather is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, first of all, you have to. Um, Here we go. You have to match the leather when you're piecing together the panels.
Mm-hmm.
You have to match the leather in a particular way so that when it's actually worn, it won't come apart. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll send this link.
Okay.
So perforation of leather on its own is dicey, and it has to be done with extreme precision in order for it to be an actual wearable garment.
Yeah.
Um, but then this piece you're looking at here, not only is it perforated leather, it's also
Mm-hmm.
reversible.
Oh wow.
And not only is it reversible, but there's this process called object dyeing. And it's the way that you color fabric or material, right? So
Mm.
object dyeing is when you take either, let's say, a t-shirt or leather like this, you submerge it in boiling hot dye.
Yeah.
And there's a big risk in doing that because
It can come
if the
apart.
garment isn't constructed properly, it'll destroy the garment.
Wow. Yeah.
So add up all these three processes: perforation, uh, reversibility, and object dyeing. And that says nothing of the actual anatomical pattern of the piece, which is
Yeah.
designed on the body as opposed to sketched out.
Right.
He designs everything on the body. So the point is, like, there's a massive risk in him going to this. Like, why would you do that? Why would you create a garment that's perforated, reversible, and object dying? Even he himself was like, when he tried to communicate this to other people, they were just like, "Are you fucking crazy? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like a kind of like a nightmare.
Yeah.
He used that word like it's a nightmare to make these garments, not just like one-off pieces, but even like a small batch, let's say 5 pieces in every size. It's a
Yeah.
total nightmare.
Yeah.
But that process of patience and risk,
You can feel it.
you can feel it. I mean, the word he uses is transmission. You know,
Yeah.
there's a
Hmm.
transmission of, he calls it, it's kind of a transmission of light. I mean, he says a transmission of light, but you could say it's a transmission of information. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a transformation of philosophy. It's a transmission of philosophy, a transmission of ideas, and of being. You know, and so the
Hmm.
same thing goes in what you're talking about with filmmaking, whether it's the Star Wars reference you used,
Yeah.
whether it's Christopher Nolan's decision to use real locations in 6 different countries for this film,
Yeah.
as opposed to the backlot of a soundstage in Hollywood.
Right.
There's a transmission that happens, and I think that kind of interlocks directly with patience. I think proper transmission requires patience.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that kind of links directly back to what we're talking about. Whether in your case it's flight school, and your aspirations for making it um, what what you envision,
Hmm.
or whether it's me making this film, it requires patience to properly trans make that transmission
Yeah.
in the way that we deeply wish to.
Absolutely, man. I think that this is like a beautiful space of just capping this off because I think that the unified thing in this is, and it's like, where is the cutting edge of that process? It's like, okay, if I'm going to make of my life's work a cathedral,
Yeah,
like, can I settle into the seat and be like, I'm going to be here for a while? And I don't even know if it will be done. And
yeah,
and it might be, look at many people who like lived their lives and then it's like their work continued to live on and people carried it forward because it was just like other people saw the vision of that cathedral as well. And I think that that's something that is, again, really, it's like a tough pill to swallow for the part of ourselves that wants to be like, no, I gotta like get it all done in like this period of time, and
yeah.
just
YOLO.
leaning, yeah, YOLO, and like just leaning into this like deep trust fall that life is going to put together everything that needs to be. When I look at that jacket and I feel into the essence of what you're creating, a story like the story that you're telling could completely metamorphosize pieces that already, like, people who really get it, like you, will look at a piece like this. And I even feel it myself. I even feel the sense of like, I can feel the rare essence of these pieces, that they're like art forms, and that it's like, to
Yeah,
own something like that is like legendary,
right.
and that there will probably inevitably be like a secondary market for however long of these pieces where people will trade them like pieces of art,
Definitely.
and maybe even just like hold them in their in in their possession like that. And so a film like this is something that can really immortalize them even further.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is just like a beautiful exploration, and probably just the nice, this conversation, I never know like where it's going to go, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and this is like such a perfect lens to look through today, because I'm right in the midst of this launch process, and holding that excitement of what is, while also being patient with the journey of what will be, wants to be in its own perfect timing.
Yep.
And then the dojo, the cutting edge of refining that, happens in the moments that the keys are lost. It's like, because that's the space where we are refining that blade within ourselves that when it comes time to lock in behind the camera, like in front of the studio, the mic, it's like that ability has been sharpened by
Yeah.
by life's grinding stone, literally, in all of those myriad ways. And so
Yep.
I find little by little, especially this is where being a parent and our child is just the greatest teacher of this, because when Kai comes and he's like, "Puppy, you want to play trains with me?" And I'm like getting ready to stream in 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I can do that for two
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
whereas earlier on, it'd be like, oh, no, I have this thing that is planned in this time and all of this. And it's like, it's good. Everything is going to happen in its right time. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful, man. I love
brother,
it.
thanks for hanging and jamming with me.
Of course, man. This was amazing.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Like I said, we didn't even get into your chart or anything, but part of how I
Next time.
also do this is like, anybody wants to come on, look at their chart. I really just I respect your work deeply.
Thank you, brother.
For anybody who's watching, go and look up the Passengers film by Jeff L. Stone. You could probably find it out there somewhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's definitely some content on YouTube. We're trying to
Yeah.
find an online distributor that which is where it'll live.
Yeah.
And that's a whole crazy process. I mean, the film process is a whole nother wormhole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Industry and, specs and exclusivity and all that stuff.
We'll
But
get it. We'll have plenty of
yeah,
time to get it more stuff another time. But
yeah, definitely, man.
yeah, all to
Yeah,
say, man, Godspeed with this project,
thank you.
and yeah, it was so good to hang today. And now I'm gonna go celebrate Evacheska's 40th birthday. Is today.
Oh,
We're doing
really?
we're doing a little birthday brunch right now
Oh,
outside.
amazing.
So, and then
Nice.
we're going to Chicago, and Karen is performing in that Brahms Radiohead show,
Oh,
the
really?
symphony orchestra show. Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
travel this
amazing.
afternoon to Chicago, so we'll be there, and then we'll be back this weekend, and
Awesome.
other
Send
stuff
her my
going on.
best.
I will. I
Look
will.
forward to seeing some
Yeah,
highlights of that.
yeah. Give our love to Nikla and Dakota. We were thinking about you guys. I was talking with Evacheska yesterday. She was just like, because she has such a deep bond with Nikla.
Yeah.
That's like
Yep.
definitely the Italian
Oh, yeah.
heritage as well.
It's a strong
Um,
bond, baby.
but yeah, we think about y'all often. I know you guys got your roots and stuff in your area, but we're like, wow, what a
Yeah.
dream! What a dream it'd be if we were just like neighbors. But
I know, man. I know.
yeah,
We'll make a trip happen. We haven't been upstate, I mean, in a long time, so
yeah,
we're
yeah,
due. It'd be
yeah.
nice to come up and airstream it.
We'll set it up, man. All right,
Awesome.
brother.
All right, man. Godspeed.
Peace out, my friend. Take
All right,
care.
bye. Talk soon.
Bye, everybody.